The first scream echoed through the Galactic Senate hall before anyone understood what they were hearing. It was not a cry of pain at first, more like disbelief. A sound that did not belong in a chamber built to host gods, emperors, and species that measured their history in millions of years. Every delegate turned toward the main doors. They were opening. Not ceremonially. Not with the soft gravitational hush reserved for heads of state. They were being forced open. The Senate doors, each a slab of layered neutron alloy, capable of withstanding orbital bombardment, bent inward with a shriek of tortured metal. Energy shields flared and failed. Ancient sigils cracked. The chamber's artificial star dimmed as power rerouted in a futile attempt to compensate. And then the human walked in. He was alone. No honor guard. No fleet in orbit. No diplomatic banners or genetic heraldry woven into his clothing. He wore a dark, dust-stained uniform, torn at the shoulder, scorched at the hem. His boots left faint streaks across the polished crystal floor. In his right hand, wrapped around the collar of a radiant being made of living light and armored flesh, was the Emperor of the Varelian Dominion, the galaxy's oldest empire. The man who had never been touched by an enemy. Until now. Gasps rippled through the Senate. Delegates rose halfway from their bio-thrones before remembering they had no authority here. Automated defense pylons tracked the intruder, targeting reticles flashing red, then yellow, then, confusingly, green as their threat assessment systems failed to classify what they were seeing. The Emperor screamed again. "Unhand me APE," he thundered, his voice amplified by psychic resonance. "You stand before the Galactic Senate. You will." The human tightened his grip. The sound that followed was not amplified. It was physical, a wet, choking crack as the Emperor's words cut off mid-syllable. The human spoke. Quietly. "You'll wait your turn." And then he dragged the Emperor forward. Across the Senate floor. Past the banners of 1,000 civilizations. The Varelian Emperor's radiant form flickered erratically, his bioluminescent armor scraping uselessly against the floor. Each step echoed like a drumbeat of doom. Boom, boom, boom. The galaxy watched in silence. Because every species present knew the rule. No violence in the Senate. The penalty for violating it was immediate annihilation. And yet, nothing happened. No weapons fired. No defense systems engaged. Because the Senate's ancient laws had never accounted for this. Humans were new. Young. Barely spacefaring by the galaxy's standards. They had arrived as diplomats, traders, aid workers. Smiling primates with fragile bodies and alarming emotional ranges. They had asked for peace. The Emperor had laughed. It had begun 3 cycles earlier. A border incident, the Varelians called it. A human colony ship, civilian, unarmed, had drifted too close to a Dominion expansion zone. The Emperor's fleet had fired without warning. 10,000 humans died in vacuum and fire. The Dominion declared it a necessary demonstration. The Senate ruled it regrettable. Humanity requested arbitration. The Emperor refused. So the humans went quiet. No threats. No fleets. No angry broadcasts. Just silence. Until a single human vessel appeared above the Varelian capital. It did not fire. It did not flee. It simply descended. What happened next was still being debated by every military academy in the galaxy. The human ship ignored shields that should have vaporized it. Its boarding pods pierced the Imperial Palace like spears. The Emperor's honor guard, genetically engineered demigods, were found unconscious, their neural implants fried by targeted electromagnetic pulses. And then the human had walked into the throne chamber. Unarmed. Smiling. He had addressed the Emperor politely. "You killed my people," he said. "So now I'm here to talk." The Emperor had ordered his execution. That was the last mistake he ever made. Now, in the Senate, the human stopped at the central dais, the heart of galactic law. He lifted the Emperor effortlessly and threw him onto the floor. The impact sent a psychic shockwave through the chamber. Several delegates collapsed. Others screamed as their translators overloaded trying to interpret the sheer fury emanating from the human. The Emperor tried to rise. The human placed one boot on his chest. "You don't get to stand," the human said calmly. "Not today." The Speaker of the Senate, a being of pure probability, finally found its voice. "Human representative," it intoned, every possible tone layered into one. "You are in violation of every—" "Good," the human interrupted. The word cut sharper than any weapon. "Because you were in violation first." He looked around the chamber, meeting eyes. Compound, crystalline, luminous, mechanical. His gaze lingered on each delegate like a judge passing sentence. "You watched," he said, "when they burned our colony. You debated wording while children suffocated in vacuum. You called it politics." His boot pressed harder. The Emperor whimpered, his once brilliant form dimming. "So here's how this goes," the human continued. "You're going to listen. All of you." A defense pylon finally powered up, its weapon charging with stellar energy. The human didn't even look at it. He reached into his pocket and placed a small matte black device on the floor. Every system in the Senate died. Lights vanished. Shields collapsed. Psychic amplification fields went silent. The galaxy's greatest assembly was plunged into raw, unfiltered reality. The human's voice carried anyway. "This is a dead man nullifier," he said. "It shuts down everything. Including your safeguards. Including your weapons. Including your Emperor's regeneration field." The Emperor began to scream again. "This is what happens," the human said evenly, "when you mistake kindness for weakness." He crouched, bringing his face close to the Emperor's flickering eyes. "Say it," he whispered. The Emperor shook. "Say what you did," the human pressed. The Emperor's voice broke. "I ordered the destruction of the human colony ship Havenfall." The words echoed through the silent chamber. "And?" the human asked. "And I declare the Varelian Dominion at fault," the Emperor sobbed. "I submit myself to human justice." The human stood. He removed his boot. "For the record," he said to the Senate, "we didn't come here to conquer you." He turned toward the exit. "We came to remind you." The nullifier deactivated. Power rushed back in. Systems rebooted. Defense pylons tracked the human again, but none fired. No one moved. At the doors, the human paused. "Oh," he added casually. "If anyone's wondering, this was the diplomatic option." Then he left. The Senate remained frozen for a full minute after the doors sealed behind him. Finally, the speaker spoke. "Let the record show," it said, voice trembling across probabilities, "that humanity is hereby recognized as a species not to be tested." Across the galaxy, empires recalculated their strategies. And somewhere among the stars, humanity mourned its dead, quietly, fiercely, and with a terrifying certainty that if pushed again, they would not come alone next time.